welcome to another beautiful, and yes, it is bodacious. I'm not sure if this is actually my tagline yet. I do like beautiful, and I do like bodacious, and I do like you being the bird and the bee, and just the bee in general. The two connecting to this structure, to this symmetry, so that you can pay attention to something that is actually giving you value. There is so much garbage in this world that you can pay attention to that is only going to poison your subconscious world. That is not what you tap into the symmetry for at all. We just got cold, hard, straight wisdom from the mind of Mercury. Anytime you're tapping in to the root of the symmetry. So you know you're getting truth, you're getting facts, tried and tested through countless simulations throughout the universe. Alright, I am your boy, Hermes Trismegistus, here kicking Semitism, kicking Hermeticism, talking about how spirits create life. It's lit. I am crossfaded right now. Alright, so just know I am in a vibe. It is Friday here in LA. Alright, at like 1:30 a.m. So I am planting this episode of The Symmetry in a very hilarious state. Alright, I am in that crossfaded state of, like, this is normally where I'm at when I'm at conventions. Like when I'm at a comic convention or an anime convention, like growing up. And when I'm saying growing up, this is me outside of college. So growing up as in when I was in high school, and I didn't drink in high school, but like I kind of drank at conventions because I was always perceived as older than I actually was. And then I'd get into a lot of shenanigans. I've gotten into a lot of shenanigans. Most of my traumas actually come from conventions and having to deal with the fact that I'm not in control of how spirits outside of myself react to me. So it makes me really upset with this knowledge that I have of how I'm not in control of others. It really pisses me off when a white supremacist tries to say that God is in control of me, or that their imagination is in control of everything that I've done, or that I'm an extension of their idea. All that shit, like it makes no sense. We are all individuals. All I can do is double down on my individuality. And as an individual, I'm pretty big. Why am I pretty big? Because I built Mercury. I build Mercury. Mercury is my simulation. Mercury is my world in the universe that allows me to connect my spirit in a way that makes sense to me, which looks like me being Chase Calloway, getting called away from my simulation to come relay the message of Hermeticism, relay the message of how you create life from the inside out. So, in this cross-faded state, I have not been drunk and high in quite some time. So, this is fun because what's cool about getting tapped into different states like this, like there's no better word than state, right? So think about, like, we're in America, or I'm in America. I'm not going to assume where you are. We're in the universe. But in the United States of America, okay, there are 50 states. So each state is ruled by one government. So you can think of that like your mind. Your mind is your government, like your ability to govern your mental state. So now you can think of yourself like the United States, where each state is an emotion, right? So one state of mind is happy, another state is sad, Another state is jubilant. Another state is dedicated. Another state is motivated, like just all these emotions, right? So once you have all these states, all these different emotional states, they're all expressions of you, right? Like all of your emotions are expressions of you, but clearly your emotions can discount one another. Like you can claim that, oh, I was in an angry state when I said that, so don't listen to me. Like, don't listen to that state. And then that's the difference of your government versus like your state governments or whatever, right? Where the federal government clearly rules over the states of the land. So that's the point of the thought ruling over the emotion, right? You, as the ego, the idea of your spirit, you are the ultimate thought that rules over all of the emotions, aka your soul, that make your ability to think possible. So this is the idea of you being your own government and governing all of your emotional states, of which you can have infinite, but to be able to categorize them helps create some order. Right now you can actually build a relationship with each emotional state that you have. They're all expressions of you. You just have to get your emotions correlated. I wish they taught me this stuff in school. This is literally me just crossfaded right now on a wave. Like I don't look. This doesn't even have to do with today's topic. But that's the point. I'm on a wave. All right. So we're all just riding waves. I love life. Like life is literally just you getting to connect with people that you're kind of supposed to connect with, just based on whatever lessons your spirit wants you to learn. If your spirit wants you to learn how to fight demons and deal with haters, then you're going to meet demons and you're going to meet haters. Like that's the point. Like you have stepped out of your space so you can interact with all these different spirits. And now you get to learn about who you are amongst all these different spirits. Like what else is better? That's where life is just one big convention. And I'm in a big convention state right now because when Chase is lit on alcohol, it's generally when he's dressed up as a Spider-Man costume that he made or a Black Panther costume that he made, and he's interacting with hundreds of other people who are more lit than him. And that shit, reflecting back on it, coronavirus really changed conventions, of course, duh. And really all that sea energy, the cult of girls fucking sexually harassing me, made conventions not fun. And then coronavirus was just like the major sign of like, okay, we're good now. We're done with conventions for now. I miss them. I'll be back soon, for sure. Today's topic is how you can generate hate and separate from conventions, for example. So you can be great while realizing who you truly are spiritually, mentally, and physically. So, what does it mean to generate hate and separate? What does it mean to be great? How do you realize who you truly are? These are questions that we are more than happy to address once we take a little vibe ride on this spark of imagination. You hear that spark? Got 2 sparks right there. I mean, that was 4, but 2 at a time. Just for the sake of connecting. Like, we could just have 1. But, I mean, that's a little too individual. Alright? That's a little too individual. We got our number magic here. Okay? We want 2 sparks. Because you and I, we are 2 flames coming together to vibe. Unless, of course, you are multiple people. listening to this, in which case the fact is I am one flame over here, and all of you collectively listening, all the cells in your body, all the cells in all of your bodies, because even if you are one spirit listening to this right now, how many spirits are making the spaceship that you're using to experience yourself possible? So life doesn't happen alone. We're all connected. Hence, gang gang. See you on the other side of this magic carpet ride. My soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My mind's been flying wild. My soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying so high. Through the astral plane, Merkaba brain, I built your game, we're not the same. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying. To relay a word, those who listen heard, we make our vibe from deep inside. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying back into my space, called away with haste, so I'll fall with grace to thrill my chase. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying too. Water my earth, I know my worth, my soul gives birth to all my work. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying, so I can't connect with those you neglect. Time to correct how we reflect. My mind's been flying while my soul's been crying too. Who flood the sea with energy from my energy? I'm free to be me. I felt to inspire you to say how to fly higher too. Fly higher too. Fly higher too. Hang out with the fam in your true spot. Don't be sad if you forgot that you've got a spirit squad and you're not true to this spot. Flip a script and break the facade. Take a trip and go abroad. When you're brave, they will apply. We get in touch with your true God. I've been fighting. I've been vibing when I'm dancing with demons, reversing curses, they scheming. They be fiending for reasons to change the sins like the seasons. So I've been falling, cause y'all been calling my mind out of my spirit. I feel it best when I'm near it, but y'all cry for help and I hear it. So Hermes flies out to stare it in a new healthy direction. Will grow through natural connection. So I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C to level up like it's nothing, to turn into something, to bust into function, bumping and pumping with all the wisdom I'm gushing. And when I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C, I felt to inspire you. Simmer higher. I simmer in the skies, I triple in my chi, then I open up my eyes. Symmetry. I balance in my seasons. I mother the cohesion that keeps us intertwined. Symmetry. Balance in my seasons, and I don't need a reason to fulfill my desires. Symmetry. Yo, this is amazing. And it might be because I just got off of a 19-day water fast. I'm lit. Like as fuck. And I'm lit as fuck from like 2 shots of Bacardi. So it's almost certainly because like I'm kind of off of a fast. And I have not drunk in a long time. And I'm getting hit with all these memories. So this is the thing of alcohol and like liquid. And just liquid being memory. And it's funny, like, you drink so much alcohol, you forget your memory. And that's supposed to be the idea of a good time. I've never understood that. That's why I'm psychedelic symmetry. I don't like alcohol that much. I'm just lit right now because there's a time and place for everything. Every substance has its time. Every substance has its place, or else it wouldn't exist. You feel me? So, like, we're not about to demonize things. Like, that's just a projection of whoever taught us to be limited in our ability to communicate. Obviously, alcohol is not demonic, but it does allow you to get possessed. By what? Yourself, by your own demons. This is why alcohol is called spirits, because it's the idea that you as a spirit can get possessed by, I'm going to say yourself, and I'm saying yourself because it's about you getting possessed by your own feelings. And from there, you could get possessed by spirits outside of you based on how they're able to manipulate your feelings against you. And that's like what alcoholics go through a lot. That's what people who drink a lot go through in general, where they have these demons, they have these issues that they're trying to run from by poisoning themselves, and then that allows spirits who are in resonance with their problems to manipulate them. And then this is where you get people getting possessed. And now you have people who are drunk doing wild, crazy things. And it's not the alcohol's fault. It's just like acid at that point. It's all about your vibration going into using the substance ever. Like at that point, you using this substance is an excuse for you to express a part of yourself that you felt like you could not express without the substance. That's why I also hate when people are trying to use alcohol as a way to say that they can get a pass on doing certain things that they would not otherwise do when they're sober. And that's just showing me like, okay, well, that just means that when you're drinking alcohol, you are trying to do all the things that you feel like you need to repress when you're sober. And then that's where, in general, when people drink alcohol, anything that they naturally repress in like their conscious sober life comes out. And that's where my mom would say, when people get drunk, it just turns like the dial from 2 to 10. And she hasn't said it like this, but as far as the dial, everyone has their own song, right? My soul is a song. My soul is a universe. I have one universe. I have one song as a spirit. And when I communicate my song externally, now I'm part of the collaborative song. Now I'm the messenger of the gods. Now I'm Tahuti, I'm Hermes, I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, I'm Chikatet, I'm Ningishzida, I'm Idris, I'm Zoroaster, I'm Chikatet, I'm Hermanubis, I'm Mercurius Ter Maximus. I'm so many spiritual names that all just express how I triple my C in order to communicate how we create everything that we can see in order to feel seen and be able to connect and communicate and create life with spaces outside of ourselves. Life always has to be us communicating it from the internal to the external. There's no other way. And that's just where, if you desire to connect with spaces outside of yourself, then you're going to use your ability to communicate to consume what someone has already created from their internal. I'm a god. Like, I create simulations. My spirit is building simulations right now as I'm literally just the body communicating with you. That's how big of a spirit I am. So I have, like, I'm just constantly building. I'm constantly connecting with myself so that I can expand my chi and I can expand my ability to communicate my internal to the external, so I can consistently create simulations that allow all these other spirits in the universe to stabilize their desire to connect. Because for some reason, people just aren't as stable as I am. For some reason, people just don't want to build things like that. And at the very least, the spirits that really do, they don't feel like going through the effort of sharing it with others. So they're not going to create a body and be in hell in this white supremacist landscape like I am, because that like the whole point of them learning how to build their own world was so that they could hang out with themselves and be alone. So this is the balance. Here I am in a world where I've clearly helped build it. We see the medical industry using my caduceus. We see white supremacists in the Bible and these Judeo-Christian government religions using my emerald tablets and using my teachings of Hermeticism to teach people to hate themselves instead of love themselves, so that they won't feel like creating their own heaven, and instead they need to feel like they have to sacrifice their individuality to go to someone else's heaven. We can see that this realm is very much influenced by what I create, because the whole point is that I have been called to this realm before, and this is just a cycle of me getting called here again to use my ability to communicate, to build structures. It's basically that simple. Everything is details from there, which, hey, Virgo moon right here, we can get into the details. I'm about it. The fact is, life is psychedelic. The fact is, we're just replaying things over and over, and we are going through our own emotions. And all we can do in life is literally build upon what we've done before. This is why life is emotional and life is subconscious. It's all based in that 8. Spiders are great. We're talking about making connections. But what happens when you get too lost in your connections? How do you generate the hate to separate from connections that are actually keeping you from yourself? Because you're only going to be great when you know that you are a spirit. So what happens easily with physical reality is that, people just don't achieve greatness, right? And we kind of see, like, in art, all these relatable books and movies, like all these like books that I read growing up, all the stories I was reading, all the European general stuff, it's about like people wanting to be great, right? Like, this is the point. I'm communicating here about the most relatable things, because the point is I have to relate my infinitely individual spirit to you in a way that makes sense. The only way I can do that is to create my own ideas throughout time and space and build upon that forever. That's how I built this body. That's why my spine can manipulate my arms and legs and manipulate my jaw to be able to speak. And that's why my brain is able to make neurons, synapses, firing connections in accordance with what my mind desires, not the other way around, right? We know it's not the other way around at this point. We literally we could not be this smart. I would not have all this awareness of other realms that my body is not in if my brain was making my mind. Like, duh. Right? We see this. We know this. It's just, I'm like speaking to just like how insane this white supremacist fake ass science is. But it's really just as simple as, once they can make your spirit believe that it's the mind, and really that the body creates the mind, now they can tell you what you are forever and get you lost, and you'll never be great. Like, when the moment you believe you're something, you can't be great. So like, if I really believed that I was any one of my creations, I would not be great. There's so many people on the internet, like, who try to claim that they're me. Like, it's weird. Like, I've interacted with them on TikTok, actually. Like, where I'm genuinely, like, I have all of my stuff out, all of my dissections of the emerald tablets, everything where I'm talking about dissect the dialect, right? Like, how spirits use their elements to connect and create the universe, and then we use numbers to make sense of how we connect, so that now we can actually structure and build order from our elemental desire to create nature that allows us to go inward together, and then all the literature and just details from that. Like, I have so much content on that, so it's like it's obvious that I'm Thoth. Duh. And it's like Thoth is fucking white supremacist version of Tahuti. T'Chaos. Alright, T'Chaos is fucking nice. I really do love Tahuti. Thoth is fucking, like, that's white people shit. Like, Thoth. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Like, I use it because it's literally my life path is 2. Alright, so the point is, I have to connect with people on their level. And this is why I have many names. Alright, we all have many names. We all have many aspects to ourselves. That's the whole thing that I'm saying, with you being the government of all of your emotional states. But all of your feelings are connected by you. So like, this is why you are always a center of your universe. Everything in your universe has to happen around you, because you are creating your universe from your desire to connect. And you connecting looks like being the center of your experience. This is why this is basically just how awareness works, where you're experiencing yourself as the center, and now everything from there is a sphere. Everything you can hear is inside an atmosphere. You are right here in an atmosphere where everything you can hear is inside of a sphere. And it's all just the here. Here, here, here. We are right here. Where are you? Here. Hearing things. Listening. To what? Yourself. You're listening to your own circumstances. You're listening to your vibration and the vibrations that you are using your vibration to feel in resonance with. Right? So right now, you feel like you're in resonance with me based on how you are using your vibration to wait in this connection. And now both of us connecting together, we are building a structure, because both of our water comes together to create earth. And now the more we water this structure, boom, we got plants growing. We got a simulation popping off. Symmetry. Balance turns into life. So, when you believe that you're something, like the moment I believe that I am Thoth, I'm lost. Like the moment I forget that Thoth is a natural expression of my space, the moment I'm literally lost in energy. Like, that's the issue. This is the polarity. Like, as a spirit, you truly have to know forever and ever that anything that you can observe is a creation that you as the creator are using to step outside of yourself. And this is why everything is vibrational. Everything is energy that was created by you vibrating at a certain frequency. So now, all the spirits that were vibrating in a similar enough frequency to you can create similar enough energy that allows all of you to observe each other. And then this is how we just form crystals that can reflect and refract light in a similar way that allows us to further build earth in bodies and create consciousness from these things so we can be conscious of each other. based on how conscious we are of our own circumstances. And then, of course, it's that connection. The more we become conscious of others, the more we become conscious of ourselves. And it's just a two-way street forever and ever, back and forth. So, when you as a spirit are connected to anything, that's a vibration. So, the difference between frequency and vibration. Vibration is you being connected. Frequency is you being separate. So, you as a spirit are separate from all spirits in the universe. Why? Because your idea of freedom is completely unique to you. So your frequency, what you frequently see, is completely separate from all other spirits. Your frequency is the expression of your ego. What does your ego frequently see? What dreams, what visions are you constantly projecting into space to express yourself? Because that's what fire is. Your ego is just fire shooting out into infinite space. There's infinite room for your imagination. This is why we're all in heaven when we're alone. This is what Hermeticism, Cynicism is all about. When you as a spirit know that you're creating your ego, you can never be in hell. There's no such thing as hell. There's no such thing as hell. You as a spirit are making your imagination. How could you be in hell? This is the epitome of heaven. Literally having all the infinite space that you want to express yourself and create your own worlds is the epitome of heaven. It only turns into hell when you don't want to be alone in your heaven anymore. Or if you don't feel like you are creating your imagination and instead you feel like you're experiencing your imagination and your imagination is some shit that you don't actually want to experience. Now you're in hell. Fine. And now you're going to want to externalize that onto us and tell us that we're going to hell. I mean, you can be your white supremacist self like that. We know over here, rolling with symmetry, sparking with symmetry, that we are choosing to be alive right now, which means that we are actually choosing to be in hell. Because choosing to be alive is the furthest that we could possibly be from our spirit. Choosing to be in the physical body and choosing to believe, to bring life to this dead flesh, is the furthest that we could possibly be from our spiritual selves, from our space. Furthest that we could possibly be. So the whole point of us separating from ourselves as spirits is so that we can feel connected with spirits that are separate from ourselves. See how this is nature? See how you and I can only feel connected and we can only empathize in the things that happen from this world because we've separated from our spirit so much. And then it's just a subconscious lesson of anything that we're going through as a spirit, any ways that we're connecting with others as spirits, is only an expression of our soul. And this is why I get called away into simulations like this to share Hermeticism, share Cynicism, just speak on communication, just be myself, really. Because it's basically like a pattern of behavior. It happens in many different ways. But the main issue that I get called away into simulations for is treating the symptom of white supremacy, which is basically, to put it in different terms, when spirits are lost in light, right? The whole point of white supremacy is that spirits are lost in light. It's impossible for you to actually believe in. Like, there's no way that you as a spirit could truly believe in any racist ideas. There's no way you could truly believe in any sexist ideas or transphobic ideas or any of those like separatist ideas. There's no way. And really, we'll bring it to mainly, there's no way you could possibly be racist. There's no way you could possibly judge someone and think that you know their character based on the color of their skin unless you are literally lost in light. Like, this is what lost in light is on a physical level. If someone feels like they can look at your skin color and know who you are, like, this is what I've gone through at conventions a lot. Now I'm gonna start getting mad because I've gone through this a lot at conventions, actually, where I'm in my Spider-Man costume and I'm interacting with these white people, and all these white people like love me, right? They're like all smiling and happy and we're having a good time, la-di-doo-di-da, just like hanging out in a group, whatever, like just talking, blah 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 blah. And I have my mask on the whole time. And it can be like 5 minutes in, it can be 10 minutes in, we can be 15 minutes in. It doesn't matter how much they got to know me and how comfortable they are with me. When I take that mask off, every time white people would be like, oh, and their faces would get shocked. And their expressions would change, and their body language would change, and their energy would change, their emotions would change, their aura would change, their vibration would change. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I didn't think that Spider-Man was black. And they try to then like play it off like a joke. Now all of a sudden they start making jokes. Like, it's so weird. Like, even like white dudes will like start to make jokes about like, oh, well, how do you fit that dick in all of that costume, that spandex, bro? And it's like so weird. Like, it's so weird, the racist fetishism and like the subconscious nature of the racist fetishism in America. That's like even in white men, and like white men focusing on like black men dicks. And like these white dudes all of a sudden, like, before they were communicating with me organically and fine, but now they want to make jokes about how I probably actually jump higher than Spider-Man because I'm black. Or how maybe I don't jump as high because my dick holds me down because it's so big. Like, it's remarkable. Like, I've heard so many things. Like, it's so, and that was my, like, me just growing up. And oh my gosh, what a time. Okay, so this is the point. All right, I've grown in awareness. I've learned more about myself from this lifetime, and all this shit has been lessons. Right, life is one big lesson. So when there are multiple ways I can go with this. Wait, hold on. Let me hit this. Yeah, the moment you think you are something, you're lost in light. That's the only way that you could possibly justify racist behavior and justify genocide and justify eliminating indigenous peoples, and just in general, that's the only way that you could feel like one religion is right over all other religions. Like, the only way that you could think that one system is more true than all other systems is if you're lost in light. And lost in light is literally thinking that you are something. And that just gets infinitely detailed. So when you as a spirit are nothing, you can easily then say, yeah, but I'm actually a child of God. And if you're taught that you're a child of God from a specific church, then you're only even able to view your concept of being a child of God through that church's lens. So this is where everything is weaponized spirituality, because everything is true in that case. Like, you are a child of God, but these are all aspects of yourself. Like, you as an individual, like, this is everything that you have done. as an individual to make yourself possible. So when you're resonating with someone like, hey, you're a child of God, like worship God, that's you resonating with someone telling you that you created yourself and you should worship yourself. You should use your ability to be created to focus on your creator so that you can create more things that actually support your creator. Like, that's the truth of being a child of God. But then, of course, that's me bringing the ultimate wisdom to it, right? But when it's fucked up through the white supremacist religious frame, it's only going to then be, you are a child of our God, and our God wants you to do this. And that's what being lost in light is, because now that religion is only ever an expression of that spirit's subconscious desires and like everything that spirit has got going on and what they want you to build their world in, basically. Like, that's the whole point there. So being lost in light is truly thinking that you are something instead of knowing that you're using something. All right, you use yourself, you use the you to carry your gifts from the inside out. And then that's how you create the universe, and you create the double you in general by connecting with other universes. And now everything is under water. All yous are under the double you, because we're all connecting underneath the idea of water. Water being the one thing that allows all of us to feel connected with each other. That's why all life, all simulations in the cosmos are water-based. Fire is what separates us. So, when you as a spirit get too lost in water, that's when you are drowning in your connections, right? When you think about people who are connected to so many people, they have so many friends that they actually don't even have time to connect with themselves. That would be an example of someone who is drowning in their emotions. And it physically looks like them drowning in the emotions of other people, because they're drowning in their emotions so hard internally that they're trying to run away from their emotions by connecting with a bunch of people. But the thing is, everyone that they connect with is only going to be a reflection of their soul and who they are at that time. This is why it's important when you're connected to any reality and you feel like you're connected too much, when you feel like you're drowning not only in your emotions but the emotions of others. Because really, if you're drowning in the emotions of others, that only means that you're drowning in your own emotions, because you can't get out of your own feelings. You can't get out of your own space. All you can really do is project your feelings from your space into your body so that you can animate this body and bring life to this flesh and communicate your internal world into the external. So if you're too deeply connected to a realm that has you lost in light, then that means you are the most separate from your spirit that you possibly can be. And by being the most separate from your spirit you possibly can be, you're going to feel the worst emotions you possibly can, because your spirit itself is creating the emotion that allows it to connect. If you as the spirit are too busy reacting to the world that you're in to stay connected with yourself and stay connected with creating the emotions that you want to feel and that you want to bring into the world, then you're going to be lost in hell for a long time. And no one's going to be able to pull you out. No one's going to be able to pull you out of your own tumultuous, stormy waters. Like if you're thrashing around in an ocean, anyone who's trying to come pull you out is just going to get pulled into your mess. This is why I can't just fly into simulations and save people. That's why, like, I don't believe in superheroes. All right, I'm a superhero. You need to pick up your phone and call me if you want help. All right, I'm gonna need you to consciously be aware. All right, you're gonna have to project into my space to let me know that you would like me to project into your space. I'm not about to just be out here like, I need to go save them because I feel like it. Like, what? Bro, it's too wise for that. I'll chill on Mercury and record everything that I see and relay messages from there. And this is why it's important to generate hate. Hate is what makes you great. Anything you hate is showing you something that is keeping you separate from who you truly are. And thus, when you are dealing with something that you hate, and it's reminding you that you are separate, then you have to generate higher thoughts, and you must levitate your thoughts into heaven. Generate hate to levitate your 7 into heaven. It's all about you being in a world. As a spirit, you have specifically put yourself in a situation where you are seeing things, you're seeing visions, you're dealing with circumstances and situations that you do not resonate with. So you hate, right? So now you're generating new feelings based on your hate from how you do not resonate with the vibrations that you're connecting to. And this is how you build your own soul. We see this in Dissect the Dialect. G is 7, H is 8. So the more you separate G, the more you use your G, use your greatness, your inner G to separate from the E. Separate how you F from the E, more specifically. But to separate how, separate how you F, separate how you fornicate. How do you have sex with energy? Because we're all using energy to have sex. But how do you do that? That's your G. So now you're separating it. And the only reason that you would separate how you have sex from anyone else is because you hate how you were having sex up to that point. And again, sex is just 6, the number 6. So we're just talking about creating life. So when you're creating a structure, when you want to change the way that you create that structure, then that is going to involve you generating hate. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to change anything. So really then, that's where, a perfect example is just having individuality. Like if you are part of a group of people, let's say you're part of a rock band. So many examples flew by my mind, and that's like the most basic shit. That's so funny. Let's say you're in a rock band, okay? And you have 10 people and they all play guitar. All right, this is a really fucking shredder rock band. Everyone plays guitar. Yet everyone plays like they were taught in school. Right? So you have 10 people in one band, and all 10 of these people can only play guitar like they were taught in school. So even though they're 10 people, they're all playing guitar like one professor. The only reason any one of them would start to play guitar differently is because they started to hate the way they sounded. And this is how hate generates greatness. Like good art, awesome creations come from hate, come from generating separation. Because anything you hate, you want to separate from. So this is where your spirit will use its powers of manifestation to create situations that you hate. And your spirit, by creating a situation that you hate, will allow you to then generate the energy that allows you to levitate your 7 into heaven and separate from that hell. And now you're able to ascend and create your heaven. And this is how you get to realize then who you truly are. I can get deeper in this. But I mean, that's just like us laying the groundwork of how you do it. Honestly, I actually could just end this here. That's hilarious. But I won't, because we actually do have to get a little more into the importance of realizing who you truly are, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Because the whole point of you generating hate. So we look at this example, the 10 people who are all playing guitar like their professor. Right? But then you get that one rock band member. He's like, I don't like the way we sound. Everyone sounds the same. And that's lame. Oh, being the same is lame. My flame cannot be tamed. And now that guy gets into his 7 energy. He starts using thought, starts creating some unique ideas to separate from the pack, separate from his group. And from there, he's able to create an H, create this 8, create new connections. Because that's the essence of using G into H, using 7 into 8. When you create new thoughts, when you create new ideas, you're actually creating new connections. This is the power of spiders. When you can create a thought that separates you from the universe, that in and of itself is a structure. And the more you can create those thoughts, the more you can build up a structure that separates you from the universe, and thus results in you creating your own subconscious world. And that's how the 7 goes into 8. So you then get to generate, levitate your 7 into heaven, generate the hate that allows you to bring your vibration through your H, through your home, into your J. And now you're actually creating heaven. So that I, right? G, H, I. You separate how you F from E, which allows you to create your own H. You get to create your own happiness. So once you learn what you hate and you separate from what you hate, now you're happy. And now you have a home. Now you get to be happy in your own home. Boom. This is your 8. Your I is your 9. You are realizing who you truly are. So now you have all of life. So now we can, once you get to be an awesome spirit, the universe is your home. Like, that's the point of all of it being vibrationally connected and you being in such resonance with yourself. When you love to be alone, when you love to be hermetic, when you love to be somatic, to the point that you are infinitely happy alone as a spirit, and you are infinitely at peace inside of yourself, then the moment you step outside of your space, and the more you step outside of your space, the universe is only ever going to reflect how you're at home. The universe is only ever going to mold to being your home, because you're going to use your internal home vibration to create an external home vibration. And what is home without family, right? So this is the point of us sharing our heaven into hell, because we are in hell when we're with our family. because we're in hell when we're connected to anyone outside of ourselves. So the point of us creating a family is to not feel like we're in hell when we are in hell. Now we can feel like we are in heaven when we're with our family, if they are in vibrational resonance with our soul and like who we truly are and all that stuff. But of course, that's like me sort of talking about like a physical family. The point of a soul group, or the point of like a soul family or a vibrational family, is that these are the people that you're choosing to resonate with. And thus, like, that's the point of life. Like, that's the actual point of life. You're choosing to spend time with people that you resonate with. Resonate. Just all that 8 energy. It's all about what you want to consume. That's what H is. That's what home is, right? Like, when you're at home, that's where you consume things. I mean, of course, we consume things everywhere. But in general, the essence of home, actually, though, is that you feel comfortable sitting down, eating food, consuming TV, or consuming media, or consuming your private stuff. That's why Scorpio is 8. Here we are. Still in Scorpio season. It's about to wrap up soon. Goddamn. Because it's all about those home secrets. Just that infinite 8 energy that keeps life going. Everything seen and unseen. The structure that contains that is the subconscious world. Seen and unseen. Everything. All that dark stuff. That's, man, Scorpio is powerful. Best believe, Scorpio is powerful. Opposite side of Taurus. And Taurus is super powerful, so gotta be that way. And it's that fixed energy too, because really we're all fixed. When we look at ourselves as spirits, the fact being that as individual spaces, we can't get outside of ourselves. All we can do is create the feelings like we can. So really, all of our imaginations are Leo energy. Like, all of our imaginations are fixed fire. Because all of our imaginations are fixed to one point. All of our imaginations are inside of one space. They're inside of our own circumstances. And then that's where all of our souls then, when we connect with all of our own imaginations, all of our own Leos, that becomes our Scorpios, our Scorplios. So now we have our soul, that's the universe, which then has all the little bits of fire inside of it that we call stars. Because the universe, the water, is what is allowing the fire, is what is allowing the Leo to be seen. So the Scorpio is creating the fixed water soul that the Leo can shine into and be seen as a star that it is. And this all then gets communicated as Aquarius, which is fixed air. And that's where the mind in general is literally communicating this fire and water into existence, which then manifests from Aquarius into Taurus. And then Taurus is that fixed earth, where you just have, boom, a simulation. And this is what a simulation is fixed earth. It's one fixed structure of a certain type of energy that is cycling inside of one ring, like a sonic simulation ring. So that's what every simulation looks like from the outside, straight up, trust. And it's like a subconscious representation of, or a conscious representation of how subconsciously a ring is formed when spirits hug each other, right? So like that's literally all we're doing. Like anytime we're connecting with each other, we're connecting with family, literally we're all hugging. And like that's us putting our hearts to heart in everything. It's so wild. Cause literally I've seen all this. I've seen all this from my simulation of Mercury. It's so awesome. Like my world is the best. Mercury's the best. No one can get there but me. and spirits who are connected and resonate with me in a certain vibration. And it takes a lot to do that. So we have a private business going on here. All right. Keep the family close, as Champagne Poppy would say. So shout out Anubis. Shout out Atlantis. Because Atlantis is Anubis' simulation. Mercury is my simulation. Atlantis is Anubis' simulation. And Atlantis itself is a simulation that's all about creating connections. Because that's all water is. So Atlantis is the most powerful simulation in the universe. Hence why you'll see Anubis be God of the Dead. And it is so funny that Inside Job cartoon that is all about the shadow government revealing itself through literally just like the Netflix show cartoon, whatever. And they're just like they're just making all the references to the Illuminati and like running genocide stuff and all these things. Wild. And they're just like making all these references. Dang, my phone just vibrated and that threw me off. I don't even know why it did that, because it's on Do Not Disturb. There's no reason it should have done that. Literally, they made this show revealing themselves all, and inside the show, that that really threw me off. That's so funny, but it's not about to throw me off long. Let me hit this. So inside the show, Inside Job on Amazon, where the shadow government is revealing itself and like making jokes about all the stuff that they do to like make people believe in the government and everything that the internet's already been saying. So they just are like, okay, we might as well make a cartoon out of it because fuck it. They literally call upon Anubis and Atlantis so many times. Like, it's kind of, and when I say so many times, I mean like a solid 6 times, which for a cartoon that is 13 episodes about the shadow government running the world, that's a good amount of times to reference Atlantis and Anubis. So they are obsessed with us. Like, they are genuinely obsessed with us. It was so wild watching that and being like, wow. Like, because the jokes that they were making about Atlantis and Anubis in the show were always in the context of how they want to use their technology to be like Atlantis and to like be Anubis and like be the god of death, and just, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Colonizers, bro. Like, straight up. Like, just the difference between indigenous spirits and white supremacist spirits. And white supremacist spirits are only as good as the indigenous spirits that they can consume and cannibalize into their own garbage systems. And then their garbage systems are always failing because they were made off of genocide and slavery of people who create awesome systems by connecting with themselves. It's so weird. Like, it's so weird being on Mercury watching this play out. Like, just forever. Like, it's literally like the universe is one long movie. Like, just forever and ever. I just watch this play out. Like, just spirits pop out of nothing based on using these elements and then learning how to more consciously channel their elements into numbers and then create like bodies and crystals out of that and reflect light in more and more conscious ways that allows them to communicate and build up their awareness more and more, and then the boom boom boom, and then they just like build life from there, and then everyone's like leveling up, and it's all purely from the desire to connect with a space outside of oneself. So this is why the ultimate trap of the universe is getting lost in connecting with the space outside of oneself. And you will be lost connecting with a space outside of yourself forever if you truly believe that you are something, if you believe that you are light instead of nothing, if you don't know that you're the spirit. You have to know that you're the spirit creating light so that you can articulate your mind into something that matters. Like, your mind is your light that you're creating so that you can make your muscles matter, so that you can make money, so that you can move. All that M energy. Again, dissect the dialect. Changed my life. And of course, realizing who you truly are. Here's a little synchronicity as far as, I didn't really plan that, but who you truly are. R is the 18th letter of the alphabet, and this is our 18th podcast episode. And this is the point of this one. Like, really, like, our whole conversation here is about you knowing how to generate the hate and separate so that you can levitate your 7 into heaven and be great while realizing who you truly are. And the letter R is, being 18, all about penetrating your individual imagination into your soul. And to flip it, using your soul, using your vibration to support your individual imagination so that now you can realize who you are. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. So in Dissect the Dialect, I was sharing it a different way, where I'm saying, because I mean, in the case of English, it is about left to right. So when we're looking at 18, the point is, like, I'm looking at 1 to 8, not 8 to 1. And in the case of Dissect the Dialect and its English language, R is the letter for rape, because anyone who is underneath the age of 18, they don't actually truly know who they are yet. So if you are 18 or over the age of 18, you cannot have sex with someone under the age of 18 because they literally do not know who they are outside of the home. They have not gotten to that age yet. So that's where it's statutory rape in general. And then that's like why R is rape energy. And realms and realities, the ideas of white supremacists using railroads to rape realms and realities so that they can repeatedly steal the resources of indigenous peoples is everything that's made America great. It's all subconscious. It's all right here. So that's where there is that one way of looking at it. You are penetrating your 1 into the 8, so you're creating a 9, and that's how white supremacists like to create life, and that's why they view sex as a sin, as we see in Dissect the Dialect. Sex is that sin. Snakes are seen as sinful because their desire to create life from having sex means raping indigenous peoples and taking their 1 into other people's souls. Building railroads, the R, matey, like pirates going for that booty, literally. All that rape, like literally, it's that subconscious. Only makes sense when we connect it. So this is how I realize who I truly am. Literally just growing naturally, doing this podcast for us. Being called away from my simulation and communicating in the natural waves that I must communicate. Because this is how I'm able to relate with the world. and able to know what everyone is going through. This is what we all do naturally, because the point is we want to relate with each other. Like, what's the point in creating the circumstances where we can connect if we're not even able to feel like we're relating with each other? I mean, that's retarded. As far as just going hard with the R word right now. The point is, we are creating the universe and we are creating the bodies inside of the universe so that we can connect and then stabilize how we connect. And then, and then we can build families from here. It's simple. And everything is just families doing their thing at that point, figuring out what kind of structures, what do they want to build, life, who do they really resonate with, right? What does family mean to you? All that. And you can't have any real connections or any real family if you don't know who you truly are. Literally. So with R being 18, R is, rape, ravish, railroads. What is all this energy though? It's about reps. Boom. It's about doing something repeatedly. So when this is literally how I'm able to communicate, dissect the dialect, because me going through this alphabet like this and making all these connections is only then a projection of my space and like everything I can perceive. So I'm exposing how then I do this. But the fact is, I do what everyone does. That's why I can communicate about it. But it's like this whole level of just why I'm called here. Like I'm literally called here, entering this realm in reality. And this is all part of me writing my perfect story. As we've talked about with OPQRST. My own space, I am my own spirit in my own circle, using my own P, my own penis, my own pen is to go on quests, Q, outside of my space, R, repeatedly. And that's where I'm at right now. So right now I'm literally living out a story that my spirit is writing from its own space, and it's completely powered by the Q, the question, the quest ion. I'm on a quest. I have questions. And that powers my soul. So now I'm just here like asking questions of my spirit, and then my spirit communicates with me, and I level up and grow, and everything happens from there, because the whole point is that we are all creating life, co-creating life together right now, so that we can learn about ourselves and learn about others and literally manifest the lives of our dreams. Chase your genes. Bring heaven to earth, always. It's just like every single second. It's always about knowing that you are choosing to leave your higher dimension of being happy being alone so that you can be miserable with others, because you want to connect with others. And then this is where you're not miserable with others unless others are miserable with themselves. And even then, you're not miserable with them. You can just see that they're miserable. But you're happy because you're connected with yourself. So what issues do you have? Right? Hell is only whack when you're not connected with yourself. This is the whole point of us honing in on our intuition and our spidey senses. When you're connected with yourself, your intuition, your spirit, your vibration, the subconscious world around you is able to communicate with you in waves, yes, in ways and waves that you are able to, that allow you to ride vibrations that serve you instead of hinder you. Like literally, like this is like practical alchemy. All you're getting with symmetry is practical alchemy. So the fact is this, like literally, I mean, It has to be. I have to bring it to this because it's why I'm here. Fasting, everyone. All right, because fasting, literally, water fasting raises your vibration. So now you're able to ride the higher frequencies of the subconscious realm that is creating the consciousness around you. So then this is where you're able to manifest or create life in faster ways. That's why fasting makes you faster, because it's about going higher. It's about getting closer to your spirit by consuming more of your spirit, aka nothing, not something. Like, you'll see how spiritual life is, bro, when you don't eat food for 19 days, bro. When you don't eat food for 24 days and you go on a nice ass psychedelic trip. Oh, you'll see. Whatever you're ready to see. Because you truly can't rush the process. Whatever process it is, as far as your individual idea of where you should be. Because I have that, as far as my ego and my ego's desires and my spirit. How do I put that? My ego and my ego's desires, and me and my ego knowing that I am creating myself as my actual spirit so that I can experience who I am. Because there's like 3 different minds that are all expressing one quote unquote mind, as in you. So, and that's why we have the terms unconscious, subconscious, conscious, or spirit, soul, ego. And just like how everything basically comes in threes, because this is sort of the universal number for communication in general. And then that's where each individual has its own way of communicating. Like your spirit has its own way of communicating, your soul has its own way of communicating, your ego has its own way of communicating. And then we would say like, okay, so your spirit communicates through the frequency, the soul communicates through the vibration, and the ego communicates through the energy. So it's pretty weird levels to consciousness. Like thinking about you as a spirit have to create your awareness, and that in and of itself is a feeling of expressing and projecting and being able to like project yet reflect so that you can know where you are and you can like see and interact with the things that you're projecting into, and you're not just like actually straight projecting. And then that in and of itself, that constant like projection reflection becomes some vibrational form of communication that allows you to build a mental awareness. And that's where it goes from like a fiery awareness to an airy awareness. And now you're like actually building an atmosphere that sort of, yeah, I mean, it creates an air, for real, an atmosphere, an air, your aura around your awareness that is reflecting the environment that you are connecting with. And then from there, I mean, you build bodies, right? Like that's, I just described like all the setup process for how an organ gets built, and then how an organ would be able to turn into an organ system that runs a body that now you can organize with other bodies and build your own organ systems called corporations, and then destroy the simulation that is making life possible. Thanks, white supremacy. It's lit. So clearly I have a lot of hate for the entities who are using the genocide of indigenous peoples to make climate change possible, and not just possible but profitable, which is why I'm so passionate about using hate to separate so you can be great and realize who you truly are. Getting lost in light, thinking that you are something, is how you stay separated from yourself, and that means that you hate yourself, and all that's going to happen then is you living a life of wasting your time, because you're going to be living a life of hating yourself. You're going to be living a life of not liking the feelings that you have when you're alone. But I mean, you can't build anything productive with anyone from there. If you don't like the feelings that you have when you're alone, any feelings that you're building with people are only going to be whack from there. Like, that's just chaotic, ugly feelings that it's going to be a waste of time whenever you do love to be alone and you start connecting with yourself in different ways. So it's all about generating hate so that you can levitate out of the dense environment that you are drowning in, out of the waters that are keeping you separate from your spirit. Once you can levitate out the water with all that hate, ride your 7 into heaven, now you're great. It's lit. Realize who you truly are. You look down at that ocean. You see all the connections. You see all the universal life things that are happening, all the organizations outside of you. And you're like, I'm so happy to be alone. I'm so happy everyone is connecting in these ways. Glad I can reflect on it and learn about who I am, because I realize who I truly am. And I can see that a lot of these people, they don't really know who they truly are. And they really like relating on trying to find who they truly are together. But the quickest and best way to figure out who you truly are is to generate hate, separate from the simulation, and connect with your spirit. That looks like fasting. That looks like producing DMT through fasting to get into psychedelic states that allow you to communicate and see and travel and leave and separate from the body. That comes with breath work as well. And of course, you can ingest a substance. All living things, especially plants, the roots of plants, certain plants, produce DMT. So it's actually a fundamental compound to life. Why has the US government made a compound that is fundamental to life a Schedule 1 controlled substance? That is a topic for a different day. But it is surely another reason why I generate hate, to separate from the simulation and levitate my 7 into heaven, so I can realize who I truly am, and then come back down here and tolerate how lame all this same game stuff is. Everyone playing the same game, trying to live by the same name. It's so lame. Thinking that we are all the same. We are all infinite individuals, obviously. We know this. In Always Ascending Academy, at the very least. So, much love to you. I'm about to snap, probably go decompress, because I'm actually pretty lit right now. Like, this is silly how lit I am. I'm probably gonna go enjoy this, actually. I'm gonna perhaps travel do some astral traveling, bro? Yes, I think so. Gang, gang.